making no apologies. That's it, umhlaba mawuhlulwe, so that our people can have access to the land.
Life is difficult, but you must soldier on. Don't give up. If you are a coward, you don't belong here.
Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Simple Politics. Oh my god guys, I've been scarce, but next week I'll be back full time. So today I want to quickly dive into the relationship of Gayton Mackenzie and Ramaphosa. It seems like it's falling apart. So Ramaphosa wants answers from Gayton Mackenzie, as he should. Because Gayton Mackenzie, I think he forgot that he's a minister of sports and like an arts and culture. He's going around negotiating deals with Abo Shein. So I don't know. Actually, let me not say I don't know. One thing about Gayton Mackenzie, you know that he's all over. But I am mostly interested in the relationship of him between him and Ramaphosa, because in the beginning we saw Gayton Mackenzie has been riding out for Ramaphosa fully this year. He has been defending him left, right, and center, to a point where we even said, Ogoti, he has forgotten about his party. He has stopped talking about the PA. All he defends now is the GNU. So we know that Gayton Mackenzie has been a very loyal man when it comes to President Ramaphosa. So of course, a part of me is like, Ramaphosa might not even do much. Maybe he just wants answers, but I don't think he's gonna do much. And also, when the ANC in Gauteng didn't wanna reinstate Ukeni Kunene as the MMC, it was reported that Ramaphosa is the one who intervened and said, no, Kenny must be reinstated. Hence, he ended up being reinstated, right? So let's get right into this thing. Gayton Mackenzie posted these pictures a few days ago, right? And I saw the EFF wrote a letter. They actually wrote a letter to the chairperson of Portfolio Committee of Trade and Industry, which is what I want to read. I do want to read what was the EFF the complaint. And then I also want to get right into Ramaphosa's reasons why he wants to see Gayton Mackenzie, and what I think is going to happen. Honestly, I don't think much is going to happen. But let's just read this letter from the Economic Freedom Fighters, because the EFF wrote a letter and says, concerns regarding Minister Gayton Mackenzie engagement with Shein in Singapore. So Gayton Mackenzie had a meeting with Shein in Singapore, discussing, I don't know what he was discussing, because it says here, Gayton Mackenzie slammed after meeting with Shein executive in Singapore. Critics warned that it could further damage South Africa's struggling fashion industry. South Africa's Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Gayton Mackenzie, has faced a storm of online backlash. People were like, what are you doing? After photographs, which I'm going to post for you guys, emerged of him posting with the executive from fast fashion Shein during a high-level meeting in Singapore. Of course, we were not there, so we don't know the specifications, like the details of the meeting. The encounter, which took place on the sidelines of South Africa's Focus Week on October 6th, was intended, okay, now this is the reason for the meeting, was intended to explore potential areas of collaboration between Shein and South Africa creative, fashion, and sports sector. With a focus of empowering young designers, athletes, according to an official statement from the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. Mackenzie, flanked by Shein representatives and local officials, was seen smiling, shaking hands with the company's officials in front of Shein illuminated logo. However, the images quickly ignited fury on social media, where critics accused the minister of betraying the local textile industry. Shein, alongside rival Temu, have been blamed for the contributing loss of over 8,000 jobs in South Africa. Correct, I've heard that. Clothing and textile sector over the past 5 years, as cheap imports undercut domestic manufacturers and retailers, one user lamented. Oh yes, let's partner with the very same company that contributed to the to the loss of 8,000 retail and manufacturing jobs in the last 5 years. Nice, Gayton. Another called it acts of treason on the creative scene, while a third declared this guy is the literal enemy. Mina andinisizeli tu xa Gayton Mackenzie any betray. You said he was the next, he was the future. This guy is the one that we've been waiting for. Hey. Something that we've told you over and over and over again. Just because someone says Abahambe, it does not make him a candidate. There are other things. There are other factors. And I say this all the time. Just because someone shouts Abraham and they say something that you like, you guys all of a sudden, oh, this is the person that we've been waiting for. We are voting for him. Exactly. There is more. There is more. Anyway, okay, let's just finish off here. It says here, the backlash has been particularly sharp among fashion enthusiasts and industry insiders who argue that any endorsement of Shein undermines efforts to protect local talent. If Minister Gayton Mackenzie and his department really cared about the local fashion industry, then they would have done their research and know that any endorsement to Shein is no good for local fashion industry. One prominent fashion account posted a sentiment echoed by hundreds of likes and reposts. Radio host Saul Penduga also reacted critically to the meeting and recent discussions. The controversy has even trended, amplifying calls for government to intervention, regulate foreign e-commerce giants. I think this is why Ramaphosa has been forced to say something. Hence, Ramaphosa now wants answers. In response, Mackenzie took to X to defend the engagement, emphasizing pragmatism over protest. We can't stop Shein from doing business in South Africa. We can negotiate and agitate for greater participation of local fashion industry. We met them precisely for that reason. He wrote, you guys think staying angry at companies is a solution. There is value in collaboration, he added, that the industry requires at any help at this moment to compete globally. Nothing that government collects taxes from such firms regardless. So Gayton said that. But let's read this letter from the EFF, because the EFF wrote to Parliament. So it says that concerns regarding Minister Gayton Mackenzie's engagement with Shein in Singapore. Honorable Chairperson, the EFF writes to express concerns over the recent announcement that the Minister of Arts, Sports and Culture, Gayton Mackenzie, held a strategic engagement with representatives from the global fashion company Shein during South Africa's Focus Week in Singapore on October 6th. While collaborating with international partners in creative and sports industries can bring opportunities, this engagement raises serious issues regarding ministerial authority and alignment with South Africa's trade and industry priorities. The EFF is particularly concerned that this meeting appears to have ventured into areas that fall under the jurisdiction of the Department of Trade and Industry Competition, rather than the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. Any discussions on market access, manufacturing partnership, or investment frameworks must occur within the properly coordinated process led by the Department of Trade Industry and Competition. There are also concerns about whether any formal commitments, agreements, and understandings were reached during the meeting, given that Shein is a global corporation with a significant impact on local textiles and apparel industries worldwide. Any engagement with such an entity must be transparent and carefully scrutinized to ensure that it does not undermine South Africa's domestic manufacturing base or labor rights. The EFF further notes the crisis currently facing South Africa's local clothing, textiles, and manufacturing industry. Factory closures, mass retrenchment, and import dumping continue to weaken the local capacity. So, in light of the above concerns, the EFF requests that your office, in collaboration with the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, the Department of Small Business Development, and the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, and the relevant portfolio committees, convened a joint portfolio committee meeting to provide the following information and clarity. A full account of the engagement, because no one was there. Only Gayton was in that meeting, who can tell us what they spoke about. Clarification of administrative authority under which Minister Mackenzie undertook this engagement. Clarification of whether the Ministry of Department of Trade and Industry Competition was consulted or informed of this meeting prior to the occurrence. An assessment of how the engagement aligns with the national industry policy, local manufacturing objectives, an evaluation of whether the engagement conflicts with the Foschini Group's domestic expansion plan, and other local fashion retail initiatives. So yeah, that's the letter that the EFF wrote. But now, I want to quickly get to this part of Ramaphosa of him wanting answers. It says here, President Ramaphosa says he wants answers from the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Gayton Mackenzie, regarding the minister's negotiations with the Chinese fashion retailer Shein. Ramaphosa reminded him that the international trade deals are the competency of the Trade Ministry. This was after Mackenzie sent the arts community into a frenzy when he recently met Shein in Singapore to discuss collaboration with South Africa's creative, fashion and sports sectors, particularly in supporting inclusive sporting initiatives and empowering young local designers and athletes. We can't stop Shein from doing business in South Africa. We can agitate and negotiate for greater participation of the local fashion industry. That's what Gayton Mackenzie said. Speaking in Parliament on Tuesday, Ramaphosa said the process of reaching agreements with other players in the world was well coordinated through the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition. He said whatever agreements are arrived at are probably considered and properly synthesized by the department and the cabinet. And in doing all this, ensure that all government departments work in an integrated fashion, so there is no government department that will just hive off on its own and go reach an agreement that are not known by others. Ramaphosa added that the government ministers are entitled to meet whoever they encounter on the world stage, but added that whatever proposals are put forward must first go through the government. Possible agreements are firstly properly discussed. So in this case in point, I would say that Minister Mackenzie has not yet reported to me on this particular issue, and whatever the intentions of the encounter in another country would be properly discussed and properly evaluated by the government on the integrated basis before any agreement is reached. He said the government's main focus was to protect South African jobs, particularly in the clothing and textiles. We are focused on agreement with a variety of players, and we put in place incentives to protect the jobs and to revive the industry. Not only us in South Africa, but many countries continue to face pressure from cheaper products. Steps that we have taken in the past will continue to take to ensure that we protect South African jobs. So I will pay attention to what you have said and get some answers. That's what Ramaphosa said. So that's what Ramaphosa said. So I mean, we don't know if they've met now. If they've met now with Gayton Mackenzie, I think we're still waiting. We don't know if they've met, and what they've discussed. But also because Gayton Mackenzie has to be transparent to the president. But I'm so glad. I feel like this is their first proper fight where Gayton Mackenzie does something that's undeniable. It's the same thing that Nkabinde did, by the way. Not Nkabinde, but the Commission ad hoc committee. It's the same thing that minister who was removed did, where she got to a point where she did something that was undeniable and she literally had to be removed. The Minister of Higher Education, the Minister of Education, not sure if it's Higher Education now, and she ended up being removed because she missed a session in Parliament, and she said she was going to I don't know what she do to a show face thing. I don't know where she went, but it was like in a school or something. So she did something with that was undeniable, where president really had to react, and he removed her. So Gayton is getting to a point where he is gonna do something where the president can no longer defend him. So it's quite interesting. And I think let's keep a close eye. There's a lot going on in South Africa politically. There's a lot going on. And I think we don't have time. I mean, I struggle to keep up as well because there's too much going on. But let's see how it goes, guys. Yeah, let's see how it goes. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Thank you so much. If you don't know who I am, my name is Zizipolo Pelwana. This is Simple Politics. Let's meet in the comment section. Subscribe to this channel. I've been away, guys, from home, so I've been struggling to create content. Finally, I am on my way back home end of this week, so hopefully I'll show up more. I'll be able to follow up on things that are happening and be able to shoot more content. I'm excited about that. Let's meet in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Okay, Gayton Mackenzie, we are Papa, man. We are Papa. Who? Tell me what you think. I'll see you in the next one. Aluta continua.